Usually when the line shows 2, that's positive, right? So all the while the line had been showing 1. So this time around the first line came, and then shortly after the second line came, and then we looked into each other's face. And everybody was quiet,
Hello guys, welcome to another video. My name is Rita
and I am Ellie. If you are new to our channel, we are very happy to have you here. Please watch throughout the video, and if you haven't yet subscribed, kindly do us that favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel. So these past few weeks have been quite nerve-wracking because Rita has been experiencing some headaches, and it really was similar to what she was experiencing when we were expecting our first baby. And so that made us panic a little.
Coupled with the fact that I had put on a little, or I was putting on, or I am putting on a little, and I wasn't feeling too well. So we went to get a few pregnancy test kits, about 3. Yes. So we kept checking and checking, but they were showing negative,
Yeah. We still didn't feel convinced because when we were expecting Kofi,
because he knew what he had done.
I'll mind you. So when we were expecting Kofi, we did a number of tests and they all came negative until eventually one final one showed that you were actually pregnant and we were expecting. So yes, we have been doing all these tests, and although it keeps coming out negative, we really are still a bit nervous because it might be negative now, but it could be
change later.
Yeah, to the point where even when we were expecting Kofi, at a point we actually went to the hospital and did a pregnancy test at the hospital. It was still negative until eventually it showed positive, right?
But babes, do you remember the story behind how we eventually got to that we were expecting Kofi?
Yeah, I haven't forgotten. I don't think you have either. Yes, so I think it was one dawn, and we had gotten one of these test kits, and so I think you woke up first.
I mean, they said you have to check very early in the morning, and I was going to be. I was like, okay, this is my early morning, so why not check it now?
So you called me, and we set it all up. And that few moments when the
experiment
when the kid is showing the result can be quite nervous,
that
right?
Few seconds,
So all the while,
yes or no?
Yes, all the while. Usually when the line shows 2, that's positive, right? So all the while the line had been showing 1. So this time around the first line came, and then shortly after the second line came, and then we looked into each other's face. And everybody was quiet. Later Rita told me that she was hoping for that moment where the man goes like, "Oh, I'm happy," and then you carry that.
But
we were both quiet.
He didn't do that, and I was like, "Are you not happy?" Fine. Even me, I was scared, but at that point I was scared. I was thinking about so many things.
Yeah.
But I still asked him, "Why aren't you happy? Why aren't you jumping?" Because in the movies I see that the men are so excited. They carry the woman, and then they are so happy. So I thought it would be like that for me, but
yeah,
we
were both quiet.
Indifferent.
We were both quiet, and I'm not too sure what you were thinking, but
I was disappointed in your
reaction. Actually, I was frightened because I know a lot of pregnancy stories, the sicknesses that comes with it, and I was asking myself, can you no, not necessarily, but first of all, do you have the capacity to go through the 9-month period safely? So yes,
and then labor.
and then the whole labor thing,
I was scared of labor.
that really freaked me out. So I was quiet. I was very quiet. I was happy, but my joy was all about the aftermath. When the baby is here and I have my baby in the hand and all of it. But the pregnancy period, like the uncertainty associated with pregnancy, really freaked me out. And the way I exhibited how I was feeling was to be quiet. So honestly, I can't remember the aftermath, but eventually we.
Guys, after months.
Oh, I won't. Come on,
I'll
please.
say
After months, what do you mean after months?
Relax. I'll say months because we did a first ultrasound. I think we did a second. So it was the third one that we went to do at
Ridge.
somewhere in Ridge, and you saw that Gigi was yawning. So over there in the room, there was a big television where you would see the baby, in the womb. And so at this point on the television, you could see Jedula yawning, and then just chilling. He was just chilling.
I think you are saying what you are saying because at the initial bit of the pregnancy, when the bump was growing, Rita would ask me to come and touch the bump.
Yes, because
I would be like, I'm not ready to touch the bump.
Can you imagine? Like, did you even think of how I was feeling at that time? That maybe I'm carrying something you don't want.
Oh, come on. I don't know. So,
Gigi.
All of that at the initial bed was also scary to me. But like she's saying, when we went to do the scan and I could see the baby forming, like that's when I was able to connect with the baby. So yeah, it was.
So for you couldn't connect to something abstract, something you couldn't see or touch or feel, but at this point, because you could see that, whoa, this is a human being, this is my baby, that was when the connection started. I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
I can't say for a fact exactly what I was experiencing at that time, but pregnancy and the thought of having a new baby comes with a lot of pressure, and I know that you yourself are feeling a whole lot of your own, but I'm also taking it from making sure that everyone, including yourself and the baby, are okay in every sense, financially and all of that. And so sometimes you are so into that thought, right?
That you forget to enjoy the moment.
Yeah, you are so consumed by the thought of making sure that everything is all right, everything is in place, that you don't get to enjoy the process. So maybe I needed time to just get my thoughts together, but the turning point for me was one time when we went to do a scan, like Rita said, and well, you couldn't see the baby, but you could see the activities of the baby. You could see, that little boy.
You could see the baby on the screen.
Yes, I mean, you can't see the baby physically.
But you could see the baby on the screen. Is that not the same thing?
Well, maybe our definitions of seeing for now within this context within this context is different. So I think after that I got more comfortable, and I felt like it was time to enjoy the process
and be a father.
Are you saying that thinking about putting together a conducive environment?
Not being a father.
I don't accept that. So probably that's what I was going through. But I mean, we both were going through different things, and we're all dealing with it differently. And so, well, maybe having gone through it once, I'm better equipped to go through the second in a better way,
Okay.
in a more supportive way by your standards. Yeah.
So, guys, talking about my first trimester experience, it wasn't a rosy one. Well, I thank God I didn't have to, I didn't need to be in a hospital to be catered for. At least I was home, but I wasn't well. I was puking at the least thing. It could be food, it could be a smell. It was that bad. At that time, I could only eat banku and okra soup. Like any other thing you gave me, whether tea, porridge, rice, noodles, like I just would puke it. And so it was banku and okra soup that I could
eat.
take. Yes.
So all this talk about pregnancy made us begin to think about what we experienced not too long ago. We've spoken about what we experienced during labor a bit, but we've not really gone into details, and maybe this is a time to speak a little on that. So I remember on that day, which was your birthday, we were going for an antenatal appointment.
Yes.
We had constantly said that the baby was going to come on your birthday. As to whether the baby was really going to come on your birthday or not, we didn't know. But we said that, how about we pick the baby stuff we had bought to the hospital, we put it in the car, take it to the hospital, per adventure. The baby might come on that day. If the baby doesn't, we just bring our things home and go to the hospital as and when you're in labor. And and let me just say that getting close to the delivery, we both became very anxious, because I kept wondering, if she ever gets in labor and I'm not at home, what do we do? So we began making arrangements with friends who had vehicles, who were around, with taxi drivers, just in case during that time I'm not immediately available, because I was going to work, and I had begun seeking permission to come and work from home, but I had not gotten the permission yet. All of that made us quite anxious, during the time she was getting close to delivery and all of that. So, well, we went to the hospital anyways, and she went to see the midwife, described to the midwife what she was feeling, and the midwife confirmed that she was in labor. Go on.
So I had gone to see the midwife, like normal antenatal appointment. So she was done, checking me, and then we're done. So I can go home now. And then I told her that, the night before, I have not had it easy, and that I was feeling some pains. And then she was like, well, that is labor pains. So it's either I go home and then let my husband.
Kofi says you shouldn't say it.
or I go to the labor ward, which wasn't so far away, over there at the hospital, for them to check if I had already started dilating. I felt like, well, that's the best decision, because I can't leave the hospital and come all the way home. What if I go into labor and I'm far away from the hospital? Okay, so let's just play it safe. Let's go to the labor ward. Let's check if I have started dilating. If I have, then we can count the number of hours I have to just give birth. If I haven't, then I know that, okay, then maybe I'm not ready yet. So then we walked to the labor ward. And
by this time, I should say that she was responding to birthday messages.
It was my birthday, so I was getting calls, text messages, WhatsApp messages of my friends and family wishing me a happy birthday. And so, yes, I had to reply them all. So I got to the labor ward, and then I saw the nurse. I told her what I was feeling and that I've been asked to come there by the midwife. So she looked at me and She told me to go and sit down and I should call me. The lady didn't take me serious. Well, I wouldn't say that, but she
Of
didn't
course, there
think
were
that.
other emergencies,
Yes,
and
there were
as long
other
as you were,
emergencies, and so I felt like maybe. Yes, and even during the briefing, we were told that when you come to the labor ward, there will be other women that may be in critical condition than you are. Whether you came first or not, they will look after those that are in critical
yeah.
condition before they look after you.
And that's fair, right?
Yes, so that's fair. So I went to sit somewhere, and yes, I was sitting there for like 45 minutes, and then she came looking for me, and so they asked me to lie down on the stretcher in their room, and she checked my dilation. While checking my dilation, she was making some facial expressions. I was like, what's going on? And then she was like, hey, she's dilated. And her colleague asked her how many centimeters, and then she was like 5 centimeters. So at this point, I wanted to hear what she said exactly. So I asked again, how many centimeters? And she said 5. So then I knew I had 5 more centimeters to dilate further or something like that.
So right afterwards, we were checked into a labor ward, and we were prepped. By this time, the pains were building up. What she was going through between the time she left the midwife to when we eventually settled down in the labor ward was such a sharp contrast. Pains. And by this time, the birthday celebration had cleared off her face, and she was wailing like it was excruciating pain. I think it's the women who have gone through this that can only tell what they go through. Nobody can give you an idea. I saw you in pain, and there wasn't much I could do, and that in itself is some type of experience. But going through that pain, and then eventually it was time to push. Now mind you, we had left the house originally to go and see the midwife,
just for antenatal.
and so although she had packed her breakfast, she had not eaten much, and they will tell you that you need energy to push. She had only taken 3 spoons of her breakfast, and I don't know.
It was oatmeal.
Yeah, you didn't really have appetite, so you didn't eat it.
No, I usually don't have appetite in the morning, so
You had asked me to get you some malt, which I did.
I think it was yogurt.
Yes. So the next asked if you had eaten, and you said yes. You had taken.
You know, she was suggesting that I go and look for some banku to eat.
Yeah. Because actually, it looks like you really need energy to push. So she didn't really have that energy when it all began. And so it was a difficult birth. You know, she had run out of energy, and after so long the baby wasn't coming out. We would realize later that the baby was slightly bigger than we had anticipated.
Than it was showing in the scan.
Than it was showing in the scan. So it was an extremely difficult experience, first for her and for myself, even for the midwives who delivered the baby, and my mother-in-law was in the hospital as well. It wasn't an easy experience. Like, we know that childbirth generally is not easy, but hers was an extra difficult one. So having to think about a new child after all of this is quite a bit unsettling. And so it's not like we don't want another baby. We do want another baby, but we haven't fully recovered from all that experience.
I'm wondering if anyone actually recovers from this much pain.
Yeah, because even sometimes those who have done it twice and over will tell you that look, sometimes they go into the labor ward the second time thinking that they have experienced, but nothing really, not even a first birth prepares you for giving birth. It's always
something new.
Yeah, yeah. So well, in the end, it so happened that she was reacting to the new season, the Hamatan season, and I remember, yes, you were pregnant last year, but the weather wasn't kind on you as well, and it looks as if that weather just makes you sick. It turned out that it was a false alarm. She wasn't pregnant after all, and we are not expecting. We hope that we'll get another child soon. But for now,
Soon,
we want to focus on developing ourselves. She is still building her career, and in the near future, we hope that Kofi will have his siblings he can play around with. Yes. So this is where we draw the curtain on today's video. Thank you very much for making the time to
guys.
watch. If you haven't yet subscribed, please help us grow this family. Subscribe to our channel, and until we come your way again with another video, it's a bye for now.
Bye.